Did you just buy your first OBS Ford and you're not happy that it's slow as a turd, gets horrible gas mileage, and is completely unreliable? Well, stick around with me, guys, for the next couple of minutes because I have a whole list of things you ought to change or upgrade on your truck so that your overall experience with your truck is much more positive. Let's get started. So diving right into it, let's start with addressing slow as a turd and gets horrible gas mileage. So let's start and preface this with, you are probably used to newer vehicles that get exponentially better gas mileage, or you're used to probably smaller cars, which also get better gas mileage and always have, okay? These trucks, they can have decent fuel economy, but nowhere near like newer vehicles. However, there is really bad for these trucks and there's really good. So let's start with looking at the combustion triangle. So as you'll notice, there's three sides to this triangle. There is fuel, air, and spark. So addressing the spark side of that triangle, you're going to want to go through and take all of your existing ignition components out and replace them. Now, I know this sounds like crazy towns, but you may not know if the previous owner changed any of those components, unless, of course, they can literally show you a receipt that says, hey, I changed these X amount of miles ago with these parts. I would just assume that, yeah, it's all garbage. The other thing is, do you really trust that person to have done it the right way? So I say that because you can go and click the link up here and you go watch how I do it, and you can get the same results that I do. Is I typically get really good gas mileage. So with those ignition components, that starts with your ignition coil, which then goes to your cap and then your rotor, which then goes to your wires and then your plugs. Replace them all, and at least you can have sound peace of mind that the spark in your triangle is top notch. Now, going to another side of the triangle, the fuel side. Okay, this one's relatively straightforward, and it really centers around the fuel filter, which it's usually tucked underneath the truck inside the fuel rail where no one's looking, and honestly no one has looked probably since the truck rolled off the assembly line. So you want to get in there, you want to replace that. Again, video on how to do that. Fair warning, it can be really difficult getting those Ford connections apart, but you want to replace that because they will build up with sediment, they can build up with impurities, they can slow down, they can restrict, and so some puttery driving, poor idle, or some other performance and MPG related issues could be stemming from a clogged filter. Now, jumping to the air side of the triangle, which often gets forgotten because it's pretty straightforward. The air comes into the intake, bang, it's right into the engine. And aside from passing through the air filter and a few sensors, there's really not much to it. And that's where we're going to start, which is the air filter. Replace it. It gets forgotten. It's just a flimsy paper filter that are relatively cheap. They're usually always on the shelf. So you have no excuse to leave that one in there. And again, unless the person can prove to you that they bought this yesterday, go replace it. Matter of fact, depending on where you live, you do a lot of off-roading, gravel driving, it's probably already loaded up with all that dust anyway. Just a good idea to replace that. So we've addressed the ignition, we've addressed the air, we've addressed the fuel. Generally speaking, you should see a much better experience with MPG and performance. And just to give you an idea, when my truck was one, fully two-wheel drive, I know it's partially swapped, had 308 gears in the rear, and it's an automatic transmission at 70 miles per hour on the interstate, I was getting near 18 miles to the gallon. Trust me, you can get some decent gas mileage out of the trucks if you place all the requisite parts. Real quick, guys, if you like the t-shirt I'm wearing, this is the piston and spark plug US flag t-shirt. I also have the OBS Sunrise t-shirt, also very popular. If you want one, go down to the video description, click the merch link, and you go right to my store and get yours today, along with a whole bunch of other really cool stickers. Now, the other side that you might be complaining about, which is reliability. And I'm sure this is the one that gave you the crazy eye from all those who knew you, because you're like, why would you buy this old truck? Don't you want to like get to where you're going and get home? And you're like, sure. Well, they can only say it because it's old, and most likely you're inheriting a truck that has old parts. So let's start with the first of those. That's pretty easy. Battery. Go get the battery replaced. Again, unless the owner can produce paperwork that says, I bought this, such and such a long time ago, it's worth replacing it. Now, funds are a little tight. Here's a free option for you, at least to know that it's in good condition or poor condition. If you go to O'Reilly's and AutoZone, they can actually hook a sensor machine measuring equipment up to it, and they can actually tell you the life of the battery. You can also purchase this one of these things yourself. I'll put a link in the description for one of those. Either way, at least you know you're not throwing away a good battery. Going down the list, these trucks are notorious for having the fuel pumps go out between or around 150,000 miles. Now, if you're a dual fuel pump truck, you might as well wait it out because you've got one to back it up. It's one of the benefits of having dual fuel tanks. But if you just want to get it out of the way right now, go replace both fuel pumps, preferably with a Ford Motorcraft part. Otherwise, I have a really cool Spectra brand. I'll put that one down in the description there. Alternator, okay? Here's another one of those things can kind of leave you stranded. And again, they probably last about 150,000 miles. You might get it to 200. I think mine went out in that closer to 200,000 mile range. So worth replacing that. I think they can be bench tested if you don't want to go and throw it in the trash right away, but it'll definitely save you from being stuck. Last item, the starter, solenoid and motor. I was actually stranded in a parking lot after a haircut and had to Uber myself around to get my tools and everything back and replace it. If you don't watch that video, it's right here. I'll show you how to replace it, but also the fact that I did it in a parking lot. And that's another one. You're welcome to wait it out until it goes, but just so you know, I think that went out about 190,000 miles. So if you're within that ballpark and you still have the original one, as far as you know, that could be on the horizon for you. The last, and I say that was the last one, but kind of a bonus one is the water pump. I got near 240,000 miles out of my water pump, and then it finally went. That may be unusual, but that's one of those items that you're welcome to wait until it goes out. But when it does, you are definitely as equally as stranded. But if you address those items, you will have a very reliable truck that should not leave you stranded. Now on the maintenance side, as far as I call it the fluids and filters section, you definitely want to go through and replace every kind of fluid in that truck within reason, I will say. Change the oil, put a new filter on it, okay? You never know when it was last changed or if it was changed correctly. This one, a little bit of a caveat with this one, change the transmission filter and fluid. And the reason I say this is a little bit of a caveat because this can go one of two ways. Either you can change the filter and fluid and you'll have no issues whatsoever because your transmission was well maintained, maybe not that old, or you change it and now your transmission doesn't function properly. It's not shifting properly. And what that is due to is there is so much worn down particulate in the fluid that's actually what's helping the clutches mate and grab. And without them, because you're fresh coolant, your clutches are slipping and you're going nowhere. So I'd say do that one at your own risk. But if you do it and you're successful, you can get into a really good habit that'll help prolong the life cycle of that transmission. Lower down the list, if you want to go through a brake bleed, definitely do it. But you may want to wait until you do some other brake work. And then, of course, the last one I would say on here is your coolant. You can just do a flush of the coolant, but otherwise it's not going to hurt you if you let that one sit. So that's about it for that, guys. Now for a comment. All right, so today's comment is from a Wonton Soup 88, and he writes, not having any luck on finding a canister for replacement. Any suggestions? So for some reference here, he did comment this under the Replace All Vacuum Lines video. And one of the things that stands out as a key component is the vacuum canister, aka the coffee can, which is that black coffee can that is on the passenger side wheel well inside the engine bay. They're prone to rusting and getting a leak, and then you lose all of your vacuum. Over the years, I've shared various part numbers for these things as they've all sold out, probably from me posting in videos. And that's me typically coming to the rescue with a new part number. Now, one of the reasons why I chose this comment for today is because somebody else, this is why I love this community, came with the save. And he posted that on eBay, somebody is selling reproduction versions of those coffee cans. And the title roughly is Ford D5TE-AA EGR vacuum canister. I will put a link in the description for that so that you guys can get one yourselves. It is an essential component for your truck. And why not just get the one that is closest to factory to make all that easy? So today's tool is the Klein Tools Hex Head 2-in-1 driver. This was actually not on my radar today for a tool, but one of the reasons why it made it down here to the studio is because I just hung up this sign right here, and I use these like HVAC style sheet metal screws that have the 1/4 hex head. So one side is 1/4, one side is 5/16. It's a super handy screwdriver because you can handle all your hose clamps and other kind of small nuts and things in and around the engine bay. It's also handy outside of the garage, and I normally keep this in my plumbing tools for screws just like that. I'll have a link down in the description for this guy so that you too can enjoy the handiness of this guy in your chest. And that's it, guys. See ya.